Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, checking in with a December container garden tour. I am so thrilled to show you that all of the containers that I planted for winter interest are looking fantastic. So without further ado, let me turn this camera around so that you can see all the highlights. Well, starting right here at the Carolina Garden House Airbnb, all of these pots look great. I am so pleased with this combination. So we've got mustard, which of course is super showy. We've got snapdragons that aren't really blooming now, but they will bloom again this spring. Of course, my favorite violas. And then we've got lots and lots of cauliflower planted here. And these aren't starting to head yet, but I'm very encouraged to see how healthy they all are. And well, the great thing is these things aren't getting eaten by the deer, because I think they're too close to the house. So that's one huge advantage that, I'm growing cauliflower in other parts of my garden and I just can't keep the deer off of it. So I'm really happy to see that these are doing so well and really with very little maintenance. Now that we finally have gotten kind of consistently cool, I'm watering pots at the most once a week. We, of course, just had a huge storm come through yesterday, so I don't need to water anything right now. We got 3 inches of rain. So really low maintenance container gardening for the December time of year. So around back, I don't have very many containers. These are actually containers that I had grown tomatoes in this summer, and I had seeded this crimson clover in it back in the summer, like in June. And of course, the crimson clover doesn't like growing through the heat of the summer. It likes this time of year. So it's doing really, really well now. You can see how large it is. We've also got fava beans here growing literally out of a bag of veggie mix from Soil Cube. Now I've got this pot that I still haven't even sown anything in. That pot is actually filled with potatoes and just some more leftover crimson clover in these containers. So a lot of opportunity to do some more interesting things. I've got a lot more seed to be able to put out. Well, as we walk towards the greenhouse, I've got a lot of containers over here. None that are really that notable, but I do have lots of stuff staged and waiting as we make progress getting some more beds built. On this side, we've got lots of vegetables, and as I was saying, these are some of the veggies that I'm struggling to keep alive because the deer keep nibbling. It's definitely helping to have this cattle fence panel out. You can see these cauliflowers look really good. They're the same age as the ones planted in the pots next door. These are a bit older, and they are starting to head. Be very excited to harvest these. And of course, we've got some really nice cabbages coming. So having the cattle fence makes a big difference in preventing the deer from coming in and eating absolutely everything. Well, I'm really pleased with how this container looks. This is, of course, the spicy greens mix that I just scattered some seeds into the pot. You can see how nice the mustards look, the violas. In this pot, we've got an ornamental cabbage, which is really beautiful. More cauliflower, more snapdragons. And then same thing mirrored over here in these pots. Everything looking really, really nice. And it doesn't look like much now, but this is a juvenile longleaf pine. And I love being able to use these as kind of a spiller in winter interest containers. Well, here on the extra warm patio, you can see that the tower garden is doing great, filled with broccoli. We've got some that are just starting to form heads. I'm gonna let those grow a bit more before I harvest. And these containers are doing really well. You can tell these are extra protected. The snapdragons are still in full bloom here. And same thing goes here for this pot. Really looking nice. And of course, into the heated shed. I'm really pleased to show you I've got more citrus coming. And I have some more citrus here to be able to harvest. I'm planning to make scallops for the holidays, and I'm gonna squeeze my own juice to be able to season them. And I added some grow lights, so I'm feeling really good about everything in here, doing exceptionally well. You can see the kalanchoes are all bolting and flowering, which I don't think I've actually ever had happen before. So it's pretty cool. I might have to cut those flower stalks off so I can enjoy them inside the house. This is the first year that I didn't replant this window box, and I've got to say, this Delosperma is awesome. So this is Ocean Sunset Orange, and you know, it is a perennial here, and it's a great trailer. It seems to be doing, it's like more vigorous now in the cool season than it was during the heat of the summer, which is kind of interesting. And this is a cool hardy sedum that I got in an auction. Moore Farm Botanic Garden had donated it, and so far so good. It's looking really nice, and well, I might end up having this be a perennial window box planting, which would be great. I love succulents because they're so low maintenance, and well, it's a perfect spot for a succulent window box. It's west facing and it gets full sun. Well, these little terracotta pots are looking tactastic for the holidays. This will probably be the last year that I use these ugly foam ball things, but you know, they're giving you the essence that we are in the holiday season. And of course, more cauliflower, more snapdragons, more violas. You guys, I'll confess to you, I eat like a head of cauliflower a day at this time of year, so I need all the cauliflowers. It's one of the things that makes me feel full, like I've eaten. It's kind of my squash that I have for the summer. I replace it with cauliflower in the winter. Now the wall is looking great, and you can really see those longleaf pines here. They're juvenile stage. I got those from the North Carolina Botanic Garden plant sale back in the fall. And of course, these are bound to be planted in the garden, in the natives garden next door. And then you can really see the broccoli and the violas are doing really well. Remember, this is underplanted with like, I think 100 or more tulips. So this spring, when the tulips come out, they're planted on every level of the wall. It's really going to be magnificent. Now, I showed you the snapdragons out back, which are more protected, and they were still blooming. You see, these snapdragons got frosted. So again, I'll probably just come through and do a little cutback on them just to make the plants look neater and tidier. Not really necessary, but something I will probably go ahead and do. And again, it's just a big difference. There's microclimates all over your property, and part of the joy of being a gardener is discovering them. Even though this is a really warm area because it's got all this concrete, it's still not as protected as the back patio. Now the white planters are looking great. This ornamental cabbage is beautiful. Got cauliflowers, snapdragons, same thing over here. And of course, a cute little cat curled into a ball. Hi. I guess that's what she thinks of a container garden tour. And then this pot over here, again, having the longleaf pine as the spiller, I think is a really great element. And I just added a palm branch in there because it was in the way of getting to the front door. And it's just a great way to temporarily use a palm just to make this container look a little more interesting. And admittedly, this window box could definitely use some finessing. I did this probably 2 months ago for the fall season, and then I never got around to making it look better for winter. It's it's easy enough just to go through and cut some fresh greens and replenish this. So I'll probably go ahead and make that a priority for this week, knowing that we have visitors coming, and I want special little touches like this to really help bring everybody into the holiday spirit. Well, and I hate to end the tour with the least impressive pots, but I also do like to show reality. And the reality is these pots that we seeded during the seed sale and cottage gardening demo aren't really reaching their full potential. So though I do have like poppies germinating here, and I've got some barley growing in this pot, I think I need to reevaluate these containers. And knowing that I have a bunch of viola still in a tray in the greenhouse, I think I might take this opportunity to go ahead and put in some vegetative plants just to make these pots look a little bit more interesting. We've got a great family coming in for the holiday week, and I want to make their time at the Airbnb as special as possible. And on a beautiful sunny day like this, it's really nice to come out and sit on Dennis's bench. And I think I'd really like for his containers to also look more interesting than they currently do. So it's always a work in progress, and more than anything, I hope that that is what will inspire you. So I've decided to go ahead and jazz up these pots. I've got wheat and oats that I'm going to do as centers for some of these. And then I have all of these violas that are going to go in. And though they have been seeded with poppies, I'm not gonna like pull them up, but I am gonna disturb it, and that may compromise the poppies, but they don't look like they have good coverage anyway. I probably let everything get too dry. Now that we've had some substantial rain, I think the new seeds will do much better. And again, the whole point is that these will look more impressive. So when people are staying here and they want to sit in the sunshine and lizard, they can actually have some beautiful pots surrounding them. Now, of course, I've just added more deer candy by putting these violas in. So I'm going to go ahead and get some tomato cages to put into each of these pots to help prevent the deer from browsing. You know, container gardening is one of the greatest joys that you can ever experience. And well, I do hope that you have been able to learn a little something from this tour, and I look forward to sharing another container update with all of you in January. As always, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Happy gardening and happy holidays.